What's up guys, Philip Liebel here with Primitive Wilderness Survival, and today I want to open this box and review the KnapEasy material from HuntPrimitive. So this is kind of like a fake rock. I believe it's like porcelain, ceramic type mixture. I'm not sure what the exact process in manufacturing is, but anyway, let's open it up and check it out, and then we're gonna quite literally break into some of it. So it only seems fitting to open it up with a piece of rock. So this was about $25–30 for 5 pieces. So we'll just say about $5 a piece, which honestly I don't think is too expensive. Depending on, I don't really know what the manufacturing process is. But it's a pretty small scale process. So to make each of these, kind of individually, I don't think $5 is a bad price. Anyway, I'm gonna open all these up and take a look at them. I'm really excited to break into this stuff. I always really enjoy working new materials. So we got a couple of white pieces here, which is kind of what he started off with, just these plain white. And then some of what I believe is called the buffalo jump. And I think that's about all the colors he has available at the moment. I know they're gonna release some new colors. It's another one of the buffalo jump ones. Okay, that's it. There's just 5 of them. There was just more paper in the bottom. So 2 of the white, 3 of the buffalo jump. And I want to say they're probably about 2 inches by 4 inches. I got pretty large hands, but we'll say 2 by 4, roughly. Maybe a little smaller. Actually, I've got a scale here. I'll tell you exactly how big they are. They are, 2 inches by about 3.5. So 2 inches by 3.5 inches, which is perfect size for making a really nice hunting point out of these. And if you're really efficient, maybe a nice little knife blink. So anyway, enough talk. I'm gonna move you guys in here and we're gonna start breaking into some of these and kind of see how they work. But that's what they look like straight out of the box. And again, here's one of the buffalo jump pieces. Cool. All right guys, so I'm gonna break in one of these buffalo jump pieces, and I'm gonna use primitive abo style tools today. So just bone, stone, antler. But let's take a look at this. The idea is kind of similar to like the bottom of a beer bottle. You're gonna have the concave side here on the bottom, and then the convex side on the top. So if you've watched my other knapping videos on doing a beer bottle, it's gonna be pretty similar, just a little bit larger piece of material and a little bit thicker. But we're gonna start by getting rid of this concavity and working some flakes into that. And that'll bring our edge up and set up some platforms for the top of this. So I'm just gonna work around and basically bring that edge up and flatten out that concave side. So at this point, I can kind of work around this thing, without worrying too much. Because like I said, I've got to remove that concavity anyway. But I do want to keep in mind that there's kind of this turtle back on here, and I'm gonna have to get into that. So I've got a ridge here, a nice ridge here, and one here, and one here as well. So I've got 4 different places I can kind of work into that turtle back. But I always try to attack the most problematic or thickest areas first. So I think, I got a little bit of a ridge here, but I can work that from the side if I need to. But right here is where I really need to remove a lot of mass. So while I'm, kind of flattening this out and getting rid of that concavity, I'm also going to set up a platform back here so I don't lose too much length. This is, if you look here, this is where that ridge is closest to the edge, right? So it's a lot easier for me to work this down, set up a nice platform, and then remove some material without losing as much length on this thing if I were to try to go a different direction. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I'm going and do some more downward flakes, just kind of bringing that platform up, that edge up. But so far, this stuff is really fun to knap. It's really nice, pretty glassy. I don't really see any inclusions or anything that's problematic. So, as the name would imply, it is pretty easy to knap. It's KnapEasy. And again, I think it's a pretty fair price for what you're getting. Ryan's a real perfectionist. So anything he does, anything he puts his name on, it's going to be pretty good quality. And he's going to do a good job at it. So this is a pretty cool product. And it's a lot of fun. Go ahead and work into that thicker part there. So some decent flakes coming off there. A nice long one. You can almost use that kind of like a Mesolithic style arrowhead. Just half that in, maybe sharpen the tip just a little bit, and probably go kill an animal with that one. But we've removed a lot of that material off the backside there. So I'm going to keep working around this thing. So this side is that's going to be pretty easy to thin out. This other side is where you have that ridge pretty close to the edge, which again isn't a problem because it's so close to the edge. We can, worst case scenario, you can lose that width and you're fine. So you could honestly just work up against that edge and use that as your platform to thin out the top side of this, and you'd be fine. There's some cool brown coloration in there. I want to be careful not to get too thin in that one spot. Break this thing in half. Gonna isolate that platform a little bit, but it's starting to get thinned out a little bit. Starting to get there. I'll braid that some. Need to braid that a little more. All right, so we're getting it worked down quite a bit, pretty close to little arrowhead preform. The stuff works really similar to dacite or dacite, depending on how you say it. So similar to dacite, you can probably get away with pressure flaking a little more, or maybe a little earlier than you could with something, you know, like a little tougher Texas rock. So it's probably a little more forgiving, not as hard to nap. And again, the name kind of implies that it's easy to nap. So really good for learning. A little easier than those really hard rocks, which is the stuff I learned on. I'm in Texas, obviously, and I just got a bunch of raw Texas rock, and it is not fun to learn on. Whereas something like this, or dacite, or obsidian, or even glass beer bottles, it's a little more fun. But what I like about this is it doesn't have, like when you nap obsidian, you get like just a bunch of little tiny ground up glass all over you, you know, almost like fiberglass. And this naps easy, but you don't get, it kind of holds together better. You don't get all that little powder, that glass powder all over you, which is one thing I don't like about obsidian. But dacite is one of my favorite materials to nap. And this kind of reminds me of it. So it's really enjoyable. It's a lot of fun to nap. It's, I'm really enjoying this, honestly. Works great with stone and bone tools. So again, great for beginners that, you know, maybe want to use abo tools or learn how to use abo tools. It's a good material for that. And apparently, according to Ryan's previous video, it kind of provides somewhat of a loophole too in areas that, you know, maybe you can't use stone but can use ceramic broadheads. This material falls into that category, so that's pretty cool. If you're in Arizona or somewhere else that doesn't allow stone points but might allow ceramic broadheads, that's a real game changer in my opinion. You know, if I lived in Arizona and I was into primitive technology, this would be amazing. Yeah, it's really fun. So getting it worked down a little closer. The lighting in here is not that great, but I'll show you guys once we get closer to finished here. Like I said, I was able to start pressure flaking pretty early and still remove some thickness with pressure, which is always nice. So really fun material. In my opinion, not overpriced, not overly expensive for what you're getting and for the manufacturing process that goes behind it. And again, I don't know the ins and outs of that manufacturing process, but I do have a microwave kiln. I melt down glass and make my own glass kind of preform sometimes. And you know, if I were making each individual piece like this, I'd probably sell it for more than $5 a piece. So in my opinion, the price is fair and the quality's kind of what you'd come to expect with anything that Ryan does. Again, he's gonna go all out and do a pretty good job of it. Yeah, that's getting pretty close now. Why is that thing so blurry? It doesn't want to focus. I want to show you guys some of the flake scars from this. Yeah, but I mean, this is basically just offering you some new colors of dacite, which is pretty cool. Alright guys, so I've got this down to a nice little preform. Now I'm going to finish this out with this rib bone. Just go through here and sharpen this up. Add some. This thing does not want to focus, but I'm just going to add some micro serrations there. Do the same on the other side. And then we're gonna clean that tip up a little. Get it nice and razor sharp. All right, guys, so that is the HuntPrimitive KnapEasy. Made a nice little hunting point out of it. My camera doesn't seem to want to focus, but anyway, as the name would imply, it is really easy to knap. It's reminiscent of something such as dacite, or kind of one of the lower grade obsidians, which I actually prefer over obsidian. I really like dacite. So really enjoyable, really fun stuff to knap. And if you were efficient with this rock, it would be possible to get a much larger point out of it than I did. So I mean, that's not bad, but I wasn't careful, I wasn't efficient. I wanted to go with this style, this size hunting point, but you could get a larger blade out of there, something for like a basket maker knife, make a nice little knife blade out of there. So these are big enough for some nice little knife blades. So I'm really enjoying this color. It's kind of reminiscent of like a Texas Edwards Plateau type chert. A lot of fun to knap, really easy to learn on. So if you feel inclined, head over to his website and check it out. I do think it is worth the price. Hopefully he upscales to the point where he can produce a lot of this stuff really easily, and then it'll definitely be worth it for him. But either way, fun little product. I would go check it out. I mean, us flint knappers, anytime there's like some kind of exotic rock or something we haven't knapped before, you've got to get your hands on it and test that out. And I think Ryan was really smart, marketing and advertising. He knows how we think because he is a flint knapper, and he knew that if there was a new product out there, a new type of rock that people hadn't used before, that they'd have to get their hands on there because it's just in our blood. So definitely worth getting the sampler pack, if nothing else, and testing it out. And I think you guys actually really enjoy it because it is a lot of fun.